Jake, we've seen this professional wrestling, the MMA thing play out a couple times so far. Yep. Mixed results so far, right? So what made you get the itch to say, let's make this switch?
I've been an MMA fan for quite some time. Back in 2012, 2013, I went and saw a buddy, an old college teammate of mine, fight. And that really started the seed inside me. My manager and I had talked about it for on and on a couple of years now, and it seemed like right now is the best time to be a professional fighter. It's kind of combat sports. Whether you're a pro wrestler or you're a pro fighter, different fans, but it's very popular across all mediums right now. So it's a good time to capitalize on 10 years of TV exposure, and I have the background to back it up. I've been an amateur wrestler for 25 years, professional wrestler for 10 years. So I think it's an interesting background and an interesting route to go about it, but it's going to be cool.
You know you're going to be compared to Brock Lesnar. You know you're going to be compared to CM Punk too, right? I mean, how do you deal with that? Are you okay with understanding that you're going to be linked together, or do you feel like, hey, I'm my own guy, and you know, don't hold me up to those two?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm okay with it. I understand I have to go out there and prove everything right now. Everything is just talk. Everything is just me signing a contract right now. So right now I have to go out there and I have to back it up, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Personally, I feel very confident doing it. I know it's a big risk leaving a professional wrestling career and jumping over into professional fighting without an amateur background in it, but no big reward comes without a big risk. And Bellator's doing a great thing here. As soon as I started talking with them, it felt like the right place to be. So I'm excited.
For those that don't know you, I mean, you have a legitimate collegiate wrestling background, but how much has either that type of training or any other type of martial arts played a role in your life since then?
I mean, amateur wrestling is a huge part of my life, whether I'm, doing a job at the bank, or if I'm going through school, or whether I'm how I raise my kids. It taught me so many disciplines in life, and so it's hard for me not to relate everything I do to amateur wrestling. It taught me how to work hard, how to train, how to tell myself that I'm not good enough and I need to do more. Like, tell me, when to step it up. And it's a cool thing to have, and I see a lot of similarities to that, to the MMA training, and of course a lot of differences. But I rely heavily on that background to help me train and help me mentally, because that's just as big of a issue in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Where are you doing your MMA training right now?
Right now I live in Tampa, Florida. I'm training mostly at Ybor City Jiu-Jitsu. Josh Rafferty, Joey Best, Rob Radford, guys like those are on the team and really taking care of me. I don't know what I did to deserve those guys and the facilities there. Chris Reed at Ybor as well. Very blessed to have them on there, and every time we get in there, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work on my part, but they seem like they're having fun, dragging me through it.
How close do you feel like you are to making a debut?
Well, I want to fight in 2018 for sure. I almost want to fight twice, so that's a bold statement, but I'm like, I don't want to waste any time. I want to jump in there. I feel like I'm in good shape now. I feel like in 6 months, in the summertime, I'll be ready to make a statement.
They need some alternates in this heavyweight Grand Prix. Are you crazy enough to jump in there and get in the deep end like that?
We'll have to see when the issue comes. I'm preparing for anybody right now, and there's going to be a steep learning curve, and I'm ready for that. And I know I'm going to get hit, and I'm going to have to respond, and I'm ready for that as well. So I'm really looking forward to it.
The heavyweight Grand Prix is going to take place. We have all the fighters here today. Have you been sights up the competition? I mean, what do you think? You mentioned you're a fan.
I mean, how cool is the heavyweight Grand Prix? I think anytime in modern day sports you have a bracket, you have a playoff, you have a tournament, you have a Grand Prix, it makes everything mean a lot more. Like, the heavyweight championship went up because of this Grand Prix, and then you look at the people in it, and it's a lot of Hall of Famers in there, and a lot of very current and very tough champions fighting for this thing. So it definitely means a lot. As far as sizing up the competition, I'm just here to enjoy the weekend.
Was it one of the guys that you've always watched the fights that you were, maybe Fedor or someone you were looking forward to meeting?
Yeah, Fedor, Mir. I like Matt Mitrione too. He has kind of an interesting background as well. Chael, anytime Chael steps up, you got to see him because he makes you want to listen to what he's going to say. And that in today's MMA, that's just as important to do.
You know, jiu-jitsu and wrestling, they are actually just, very distinctly different. When you first got on the mats and you're getting caught up in the submissions, I imagine. What did you think? What was that experience like?
I was, I was surprisingly, like I felt like I adapted to it well. You do have to kind of like reverse engineer like a lot of your wrestling mentality when you're in there, and like if you're on guard, you want to go to the head, and if you're a wrestler, but you got to, reverse it and go to the hip. So it's cool to me because I'm a wrestling guy, and I love learning all the different stuff and the techniques, and you can make the biggest guy squeal with the right technique, and that's really what the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is. It's like technique, and anybody can win.
Are you comfortable on your back yet?
Only with my wife.
Cass, you're a big guy, obviously. What do you walk around at? Are you going to have to cut to make the heavyweight limit, or do you walk around under?
I'm walking around right now about 255. We just got done with the two-a-day. I got a shiner from it. So I'm a little light right now, but I'm walking around 255, 260. I plan on being every bit of 265 come weigh in. I think I'll still be able to move and still be able to keep my speed and flexibility.
Getting a late start on it, obviously. I mean, but what do you want to accomplish? I mean, is this kind of like just go in and have a little fun, or are you thinking like, man, I could be a champion someday? Like, what do you want to accomplish in your career?
It's a late start, but you know what, man? It's exciting. It's very cool. It's an interesting route I took to get here. Like a lot of people that I wrestled with in college went straight there, and I took a different route, got a little TV exposure, and I think it's going to really help me go further in the MMA world. But I mean, no one steps in that cage to play around. It's a very serious deal, and I'm not either. I'm coming in there to hurt somebody.
How'd the conversation go with your wife? I mean, a pretty lucrative business in the professional wrestling world, right? To make that financial risk and to try something new, what was that like, talking to the family and making that decision?
It's a big jump, and nothing happens overnight with issues like this. But I can't say enough about Catalina. She's been the rock. First time she told me she loved me was after she choked me out. So it kind of runs in our family. But it's been it's been cool. Our kids weren't ever really big pro wrestling fans, and as soon as I was home enough and really started seriously training, they're putting on boxing gloves, they're running around the house with headgear, so they're really taking to it too, which it helps because like I want to be super dad as well.
What was your, growing up, high school, college, whatever, did you get any street fights? I mean, have you tested your chin? Or, I mean, it's obviously a lot different in a real fight compared to, MMA is a lot closer to a real fight than, wrestling.
Luckily I've always kind of been a bigger guy. I've been in a couple street fights and I've walked away from smiling. I'm sure they all say that when they're up here. If you ask anybody that's been in a professional wrestling ring with me about how hard my head is, there's stories about a guy throwing his shin into my head, and he came back and asked me later how I was. I was like, yeah, why, fine. And he's like, because I have a goose egg on my shin. And I don't know. I'm pretty excited.
Jake, I think it's fair to say that Scott really values both entertainment and sport. Are you going to have a talk with him about putting together a tables, ladders, and chairs match?
You know what? I think the two markets are definitely merging, and there's always something there to be creative. I don't know if there'll be tables, ladders, and chairs, because we'll really use them over here. But it's very cool to see the entertainment aspect come out in MMA, and not only MMA. You see it in the NBA, you see it in the NFL now. Everything is kind of going towards like a pro wrestling, cut a promo, drive the traffic agenda. But it's cool because it's so accepted now, and it's always been so shunned. And I feel like it's going to be a big part of the future.
Do you feel like that's going to be something you try to do from the beginning? Is come in with bravado and be we saw Brock come in and be bravado. We saw CM Punk and say, hey, I'm a rookie. I don't know anything about this. I'm just learning. He went totally away from that. Where do you see yourself on that spectrum?
I see myself being me, kind of person like what you see is what you get. I will get heated and I will come out with some fire when needed. It'll definitely help. I don't know. You got to be able to handle it. You can't go out there, and that's where your head's at. 'Cause you still got to focus on fighting. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic to try to find the good fix to.
Your name is Jake Hager. A lot of fans know you as Jack Swagger. Have you thought about how you're going to get introduced?
Former world heavyweight champion Jack Swagger and new Bellator heavyweight Jake Hager.
Gotcha.
We just wrote that a minute ago.
Not bad.
I saw that you hadn't closed the door on wrestling, that you're still going to be competing over at 5 Star
Yeah.
in the UK.
Yeah.
How often do you plan on competing in MMA and wrestling?
It's another tough thing that I'm trying to do. Right now, the pro wrestling is paying the bills before the first fight comes here with Bellator. Very excited to be here and move on to this section of my life, but I'm still doing the pro wrestling. For the next couple months, it's going to be at least once a week, doing different shows and whatnot, and then training in between. And it's going to be one of those moving, living things that we're going to have to adjust and plant our feet and pull back in some areas and push harder. It definitely makes being older going into this a lot easier, trying to juggle all these things. But it's an exciting time, and it's going to be television in an international market, so it's kind of a hard opportunity to pass up.
And do you remember the first MMA fight that got you excited about the sport that you watched?
The first fight that I watched, it had to have been, I would have to say one of the Liddell and Tito Ortiz first rumbles back in 05, 06, around then.
I see a lot of nods. Good answer.
How do you feel about MMA fans, coming from WWE? Do you feel they're going to accept you with open arms, or are they just going to be like, here comes another former WWE star, trying to get into the octagon?
Either way, it's going to be exciting. If they want to react and boo me, I'm fine with that. And if they want to welcome me as a new family member, I'm all right with that too. I'm going to go out there and beat Jake Hager and fight like Jake Hager, and hopefully I can win him over through that way once I have proven what I can really do.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jake.